Warning. Pro-Tri News is a podcast with different opinions, knowledge, and possibly fake news about triathlon racing. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and some stories may be dramatized for comedic effect. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Pro-Tri News. We are back after a 1 week hiatus. We all needed a little bit of a break, and so it was nice to have a week off before we get into the meat and potatoes of championship season. So let's kick it off with Pat. Pat, you've been racing all week. Tell us how you're feeling.
I'm feeling great. There's a 5-day criterium omnium. So I've done 4 criteriums so far this week. There's one more tonight, and then coming quick on Tuesday, we've got our Tuesday one anyway. So it'll ultimately be 6 races in 8 days coming up. So no, it's been super fun. Huge thank you to my wife for allowing me to be out late every night. Last night, I think I got home at 11. I was in bed at 12, and then we got another quick turn to this afternoon's race. So should be super fun. It's been great to have. I think last couple nights ago we had 120 in the bunch. So yeah, it's been super good.
So we calling you the nation's #1 Pat now?
Probably, yes.
That's what American crit is, isn't it? You've got to give yourself some ridiculous.
You got to have some sort of stage name, some sort of race name. So
and any beef? You've got to have crit beef as well. Don't
you got to have crit beef as well. Yep. So no, I could find some crit beef. No, it's been super fun. Kenny was at the race last night. A bunch of people I recognize. So no, it's been really fun.
That's good. And joined by Mark and Steph. You guys are not in England. Where are you guys at?
Yeah, we're definitely not in England. We are up an Austrian mountain.
Looking out the window at the view of the mountains opposite. We're at 1,900 meters, give or take, in Austria, near Lienz, doing a training camp. Steph luckily bought microphones, bought a laptop, got it linked up, connected. I had nothing.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
Ask me if I'm surprised.
We needed low barriers to entry for Mark to show up today.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, we got a big show. We're going to highlight the T100 race in London. But before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the race that happened while we were away. Ironman Leeds. You guys impressed with that? Did you guys think that Laidlow probably had that in the bag?
I think he dominated it. That was not what you would call validating. That was an absolute massacre. And he had the fastest swim, bike, and run. He looked great all day. Handled the course well and seemed to come off of it pretty unscathed. So he's gone from being, I'm not sure he'll be in Nice, to being, dangerous. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's where I left it with that performance, where I was like, okay, no, he's back on the sheet for a contender.
Because Roth, you could maybe say one off. You don't know how it panned out. He still won it really convincingly. You back it up with that as well, and you've still got a bit of time before Nice. He's in with the mix.
Yep.
Do you think that he was sandbagging earlier in the year?
No.
And now he's good to go? Or do you think it's just champions know how to win and come back around?
I think when you know how to win, you know how to win. But equally, we all have ups and downs in a season. And I think Sam's probably gone through one of the hardest points in his career. And the question mark we all had was he going to be able to pull out of it this season, or are we going to have to wait another year? I think, Roth showed his class, and then this was it wasn't a one-off, and he was able to back it up, 3 weeks later?
Yeah.
Which maybe suggests that he's been able to execute more training sooner than he suggested to the rest of the world, to be able to kind of back up 2 weekends with that much loading. But yeah, I think I highly doubt that it's not been as difficult as he suggested it has been.
Yeah, and Sam, quite openly swims 3 times a week, give or take. So he's not really a high volume athlete from what you think. He's very quality focused. They think about a lot about every single session. He put his faith back in his dad, who then guided him to some good form. I don't think he was sandbagging, because I think he was genuinely surprised in Roth. I am a bit surprised how good he's got that quickly, but also this guy has delivered some unbelievable performances in the past. He is the best cyclist in the sport. So no, probably not sandbagging, probably just really damn talented and actually thought about his training pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, that's good. Pat, you got any thoughts?
Nope, that was it.
Cool.
I should say at this point, I do actually owe Sam Laidlow's mum an apology. In the Roth pre-show, I described their family and her as normal, and she took great offence to it. Because and she collared me at the party. Sam Laidlow's mum, for the record, and I do apologise, is not normal. She's eccentric, slightly mental, and very lovely. Kind of a bohemian mum that's just absolutely awesome. So normal was not the word. I'm sorry, you are in fact mental. There we go, corrected.
I'm glad you finally course corrected on that, because I know that's been heavy on your heart for the last couple of weeks.
It has, yeah. It's been really weighing on me. The rest of the leads, I didn't really know this French guy, Nathan Goubra. I mean, he came out of nowhere, but he was in second all day. Really solid all-round performance. So he took a slot. So did Harry Palmer, who came off the back of Swansea.
Yep.
He's a real breakthrough athlete recently. Like, this is his first good Ironman. Has he finished one before?
I have a feeling this was his first finish.
I think this is his first.
Yeah, he's publicly shared the challenges that he's had with the distance.
Yeah.
So to, I guess, number one, tick off your first finish, and also a Nice qualification at Leeds, which by all stretch of the imagination is a disgusting course.
Hard race. And then Kieran Linders, who's had a bad start to the season for him from what we saw last year. I think we all expected a bit more from him this year. Again, he wasn't particularly great in Leeds, but he was strong enough to get a qualification slot. So we'll see if he can sort of turn it around in time for the world champs there. The actual race in Leeds, there was no pro women's field, by the way. The course was hard. You would say easier than the old Ironman UK course. The bike is still about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. The pros faster, even though Laidlow rode a 4:30. So it's a slow course and tough.
Yes. Yeah. But I think I definitely had reservations as to how it was going to work. A 3-loop course on British roads is like, it could get very, very busy and very congested, but I don't think we've heard any horror stories yet.
Not really. No.
And the support up the hill, that's like they had to do 3 times, looked absolutely amazing. So I guess like big thanks to everyone for turning out and making a first.
Yeah. Back
edition
Ironman UK
amazing.
is back. I mean, the UK needs an Ironman. It's a big.
Other than
Ironman.
Wales. We have
a
Wales.
big
Wales.
market.
Yeah, sorry,
It's
so
a big
England
market.
needs one, of course, but it's a big region for the sport. So I think England kind of due one. I would say an absolute legendary Instagram snatch was the guy that overtook Sam Laidlow. What an absolute baller! Flew back past him. My favourite bit though is Laidlow's reaction to have the composure and calmness just to burst out laughing.
Yeah.
As this guy must have been pushing, because Laidlow's never pushing less than 330, 340 watts, dialed to the max. That guy must have been pushing 400 watts, blew his legs apart. Great video.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I mean, it's worth it if you're that guy.
Yeah, too right. We had a couple other pro races, right? Boise?
Yeah. Boise 70.3 happened. I mean,
Paula
dominated from
She's
gun to
just
tape.
too good for those, she's those sort of races, those slightly lower tier 70.3s. If Paula turns up, 9 times out of 10, she's just battering everyone.
Yeah, she brings a mop and a bucket and cleans up.
That's a great way of putting it. She absolutely rolled the field. She won by almost 5 minutes ahead of Danielle Lewis in second and Jodie Stimpson in third. To round out the podium there. On the men's side, another win for Sam Appleton. I'm enjoying watching Appo win some races. He's an absolute top bloke, and did he win Boulder? What did he win?
Yeah, he won Boulder. Yeah.
Yeah, Appo's on the up again. Jackson Laundry in second, and Justin Rial, who is having a really good year, to be fair to him, in third.
Yeah, huge. I think Appo, I don't know if he wants me to say this or not, but I've had conversations with him that he thinks that this may be his last season racing. But he did take a world slot for 70.3 Worlds for next year, so you never know if he's going to just like keep riding this high until the wheels fall off, or if he's actually going to retire, or if he's going to give it another crack next year.
I think he's bagged a few wins. He's got a bit more time in him if he wants to keep going. It's not. I mean, the temptation is. We talked about this a bit recently with like Anne Haug. She's retired on a bit of a low, but most great athletes do, no matter what sport you're in. the temptation to seek out one more great result is always there. So I guess if you're in Apo's shoes, having a bit of choice to say, you know, I'm done off the back of a few wins in a year would be a nice way to go out, or you've got the validation to carry on. So it's totally up to him, right?
Yep.
Topic of the week. Are we ready to roll? Oh, actually, there was another 70.3 pro race today. Actually, Krakow just finished. Their qualifications for next year. In the women's race, Christine Christensen won, Meg McDonald in second, and in the men's race, Kasper Stepniak, Polish athlete, really good athlete, took the win, with Spurl in second. Anyway, topic of the week. Right, we bashed on it a lot in various bits and bob formats, so we have decided to do a bit of a deep dive onto Ironman's rules. And the way we framed this is if you were Jimmy Riccatello, Ironman's head referee, what would you change and why? So all of us have gone away, looked through the rules a little bit. I did it over pizza earlier.
Yes.
Steph has a notebook here.
I have my notes.
And we're going to cover off some of our grievances with the rules and try and if you complain about a rule, though, you have to come up with a valid suggestion on how you would change it. I think is fair. Otherwise, all else you're doing is moaning. Anyone want to go first?
I'll jump
go on.
right in. Yep. So I think they standardizing the finish lines, and how I mean that is that they're, you know, in the post Lionel Sanders, Rudy Von Berg sprint finish, where we didn't have the ability to go to a finish line camera and understand, okay, where is the finish line? What are we like?
Starting point, right?
Like that's kind of point number one, and so that hasn't been reconciled. And then now with the incident that happened in Sweden, right? It was Sweden.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this is a big one that needs revisiting. So obviously, this for me is quite easy to move forward with because the finish lines are relatively standardized in Ironman anyway, with the way they have the carpet, the way they have the finish banner, that's all set up. Now they just need to have an actual finish line camera with a line on the ground. And I think
you've started a bit. I think you're just asking too much. That's quite complex.
well, the thing here, Pat, this is kind of something that we could probably hash out over half an hour. But one of our followers, Full Send Cycle, they put up a post that the banner sometimes is in front of the arch, sometimes it's in the middle of the arch, and sometimes it's on the opposite side of the arch. So it's like they need to standardize on that before we start adding like a camera and stuff like that.
I wrote down the rule because I think if we're going to talk about the rules and say which ones you don't like, we kind of have to tell everyone what they say. So this one says the winner of the race is the one in which any part of their torso crosses the leading edge of the finish line gantry first, which, okay, to be honest, I don't even know which side the leading edge is. But you can change that to like whoever crosses the line on the ground first. Like it's a simple switch because I think, yeah, you're right, Kyle. The banner could be anywhere. There are also races for women where the banner doesn't go up because we have pro men or age group men in the way and they don't, they kind of don't realize that we're coming through. So the banner becomes irrelevant.
But that's even more important than why the camera should be there or in place and then with a line on the ground, right?
I think that's a super easy fix.
So, but this is going to be my follow-up question, I think, to many suggestions that we have. Why hasn't that been resolved yet?
I think with this, a lot of it comes down to some of the races are franchised. They're all run by independent event directors. They all have different referees from different national governing bodies that then subcontract to Ironman at the races. I'm not sure there's like a flow diagram that standardizes stuff like this.
And I would really push back because a lot of these local bike races that I do,
they have cameras.
they're done on an iPad.
Yeah.
They're done. It's on an iPad we're coming by in bike races at almost 40 miles an hour and they just run the iPad slow-mo and I just see it at the end of it. Yeah, exactly. Downhill tailwind finishes only.
Yeah.
But they just do that on an iPad on slow-mo. If you're
Yeah.
running at max, you're going 20 miles an hour in the most
Oh, yeah.
unlikely scenario. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
an iPad will suffice for that. Does it add is it a layer of something else, somebody to do? Yes. But I think now we've got these two big red flag instances between, it was Lionel Sanders and Rudy Von Berg a few years ago in Oceanside, and it was Caroline Pohl and what's her teammate's name?
Lena Meisner.
Lena Meissner, sorry, in Sweden a few weeks ago. This is one that the structure and the rules, and obviously now with how much money's going into the Pro Series, this one needs to be resolved just for the pros.
Agree, totally. It should be an easy fix. I think we have to just, like, if we all agree on it, we move on to the next rule because we've got quite a lot between us to get through. That seems super simple to me and totally called for. The camera is like an absolute must. Right, my turn. I'm going to go with, there's 36 pages to these, so buckle in. I'm going with section 101, sub point A, i.e. the first thing on the list. Intention of the rules. To facilitate fair play, equality, sportsmanship, support ingenuity and skill without unduly limiting athletes and penalise athletes who gain or seek or gain an unfair advantage. I think the most important thing in the rules is safety. And it's not even mentioned in the intention of the rules. And I know this is super petty, but I think it just shows maybe there needs to be a slight rewrite and a think to it with a real focus on, if you have a rule, what's its purpose? Is it to prevent an unfair advantage? And if it's not for that, it is for safety. And some of these rules, I don't know what they're for at all, but they have to fall into the bracket of the intent, right? And you have to put safety in there almost as the first point, because that is pretty much why you have rules. There are rules in sports to allow sport to work and be fair and fun, but the safety, and especially in a sport like Ironman, has to be mentioned. And it's hard to talk about the rules because some of them will come on to if you don't really understand what they're for, and safety has to be a massive part of it. Super petty, but that's just my one straight off.
I don't think that's petty at all. I think that's driven because so much of what we talk about should be driven by a North Star of safety, whether it's the gap from the women to the men, whether it's the gap from the women with the age group men. I think if you look at that through the lens of, okay, no, there's a safety component to this, it's a lot easier to structure decisions around that.
100%. And if you state that it's for safety, it's actually easier to justify some of these slightly strange rules as well. So that's mine. Carl, what have you
got? Mine is probably twofold into one that you have. It's kind of like not really in the rule book, but it is a well-known thing that disc wheels are banned in Kona. They're also banned.
Oh, we're getting onto this one. Oh, right.
They're also
banned
in
the rules. It's written in the rules.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
What's the number?
Section 502A2I disc wheels are banned at the World Championships in Kailua Kona, Hawaii.
They're also banned at Ironman Cozumel, which a lot of people don't know this.
But that's like a regional edition. That's not in the actual rules.
Correct. So
but it does. Like, the rules do say you can have local rules added on top.
Yeah. So I think that to reduce the ambiguity of disc wheels, we live in a time now that most athletes are strong enough that they can ride these disc wheels in places that are windy, and there are locations, obviously, that are less windy than Kona, especially in recent years. So I think if people feel confident and comfortable, and as Mark said, safe, then we need to bring disc wheels back to being used at the Ironman World Championship in Kona.
Like, I'm going to try not to labor this one because I've done it lots of times. You can do one or two things. You just legalize disc wheels. If it's a safety component, then you're lying because the safety comes from the front wheel. You cannot allow someone to ride 180 mil front wheel, as some of these wheels now are, and tell them you can't ride a disc because we want you to be safe. The safety factor is the front wheel, the back wheel. Also, when this rule was written, they were much flimsier. They were completely flat. They didn't provide the stability that wheels do now. I'm so sorry, I've just sneezed. And my main other gripe with it is it's the pointlessness of it and the expense that it incurs for age group athletes. These stupid, massive, deep back wheels that do give you a slight advantage cost $2,000, some of them, to be used once in a race, and I don't understand why. So my personal preference would be, if you believe there's a safety issue, you've got a couple of options. You either have to limit the front wheel as well. You have to define what a disc wheel is, because some of these with like a 6mm hole in the back is just not. It's the same as a disc wheel, so you're not preventing safety at all. You've completely stopped at that point. So either define what a disc wheel is, limit the front wheel, accept that people are better and the wheels are better now, and just allow all wheels, which is what I would personally do, and is personal choice, because Lanzarote, as I always cite, is the worst race. And then you save people a lot of cost, and it just takes away a bit of a pointless rule that we get mocked for by cyclists. Triathletes can't even ride a disc wheel because all they see is Kona. They see the race in Kona. That's where all the photos come from. Triathletes can't handle a disc wheel. Can we get away with that? I don't want to go on about it anymore. People know my thoughts on it. It's a stupid rule.
So we all agree. Disc wheel should come back.
Steph?
Yes.
We're in.
I also can't disagree. I'm stuck up a mountain with Mark for the next month. I have a lot. I want to go with a slightly rogue one. I've had a really good time reading through the rules.
Such a dork.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if anyone watched the Tour de France, the time trial stage with Remco's cut out visor just over his nose, because he can't get his face close enough to his hands with his helmet, with his visor on, so they cut it out. In the rules, it says that any alteration to any part of the helmet, which includes like chin straps, or not including part of the helmet, is prohibited. Does that technically mean that we can't not wear visors? Like, we have to wear visors with aero helmets because they are part of the helmet. We can't take them off.
It's a good question.
This is going to fall under, much of what we gripe about previously, where the rule itself is too vague. So I think the spirit of the way that's written, Steph, is that you can't make an adjustment or a modification to the helmet. Removing the visor doesn't make an adjustment or modification to the helmet, in the sense that that's part of it, how it works. It can have a visor or not have a visor.
Yeah.
That's how I would interpret that rule.
I completely agree. I think we should, visors don't compromise the integrity of the helmet. But this also comes back to the safety versus performance question mark. Because if it's a performance question, not wearing a visor could be seen as a performance advantage, because people are not wearing them for heat.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a safety, there is no change to safety whatsoever. So whether you wear a visor or not is completely irrelevant. So with the intentions of the rules in mind, if you have a helmet that has a visor that can be removed and you choose to remove it, you are getting a performance advantage over those that have a helmet where you can't remove the visor, especially magnetic ones where you can flip them onto the top and then put them back down.
But is that not just you've picked up a bit of equipment?
I completely agree. So I think we should be, but I'm just saying, in terms of the vagueness of rules and rules that need to be changed, I would like the wording of that one changed to exclude visors from this statement. Visors are not included when the definition of a helmet is referred to.
Yep.
I like it a lot. Pat, there's the one, isn't there, where people have used, is it Specialized that make the magnetic clip for the helmets?
Laser.
And then people have taken them and put them on other helmets, which should really void the helmet they've got, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's laser that they're the ones that made it originally.
So anyone that's using one of the laser clips on a different brand of helmet is an illegal piece of equipment and they should be disqualified.
Yes, because that is a modification of a chin strap, which is very much called out. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cheater. Dirty rotten cheater.
I want to tee Steph up for one of hers because I think it's great. Where is the zipper? Right. This is the best rule and the most pointless of all of the rules. Section 6.01E. Front zipper may be unzipped to any length provided it is still connected and the top covers the shoulders. Right. What are we talking about? What you can do on top of that is you can undo it all the way, take the whole suit down and run in your sports bra. But what you can't do is undo the zipper on your tri-suit. You know, the ones that detach fully at the bottom?
Yes.
You can't let that detach. Even if it covers your shoulders, chest and everything, that is a penalty. But taking the whole tri-suit off and running in your sports bra with it flapping around your waist is allowed. Explain that to me.
Why is this one written? Why does this rule exist?
That's a really good question.
Because they don't want people racing naked and having tits out.
I think it's men that race with it fully undone and they just fully bare torso nipples out, and it's about local communities and stuff like that. But the way they've gone about it is just so daft.
It's also preceded by a rule that states that you have to have your torso covered by a sports bra or a crop top, and that's kind of like gender irrelevant. So whoever you are, your kind of chest area has to be covered. But then they followed it up with this rule around the very specifics around zipper length, and only for those where the zipper is connected. Are they thinking that there is a performance advantage if you have a tri-suit that is disconnected at the bottom? Is that the only
I
thing?
think it was a bad addition to rectify what was going on. So like Sam Long used to do it.
Thing that we started.
Yeah. So Sam Long used to do it, right? He'd have it all the way undone and it would blow open and his nips would be out. So they were like, well, how do we get around that? So they said the zipper has to be connected at the bottom, and the idea is then that keeps it across. But the first rule is enough.
Yeah.
Like your chest has to be covered by a sports bra or crop top or tri-suit, and your full chest may not be exposed. A referee can ask you to cover at any time. I don't know why this pedanticness over this stupid zipper situation, which always happens as well. This isn't just an irrelevant rant. Like you see people whose are undone, and you're like, well, that should be a penalty, and they aren't penalised. If you can run in just a sports bra with your top round your waist, then the rule is pointless. Totally pointless.
I don't know if this was just Germany. I've only seen this in Germany, but whenever I was at Ironman Frankfurt, they literally had an official telling everyone when they were leaving T2 that they needed to zip up their top.
Yeah,
there's literally a video on my phone of them yelling at magnets.
So here's the issue, so then this goes back to if we had the overarching goal of safety, right? And the question that then I would pose is heat regulation. It's hot to run in a tri-suit with the thing fully zipped up. Just imagine I'm doing an age group race, and I've done a 5-hour, 15-minute. I swam. It took me an hour and a half to swim. Now I'm at the heat of the day. I rode for 5.5 hours, and now I've got to go do a 4-hour marathon. I'm going to be miserable in a tri-suit that doesn't breathe.
So I think some of that comes
back. That's why you need to buy a Wind Republic race suit.
Or you buy a Wind Republic white vest and just do a change in transition.
But is that where this potentially leads to then? Is a bunch of people just changing out into run clothes?
Well, people have done that. Lionel's done that in the past. Some people think that's faster. I just want to see the rule make sense. And if you're allowed to run in the tiniest a bloke could run in a tiny crop top, like those things you see influencers running in, legal. What he can't do is run with his shoulders, most his chest, all his back covered, and the zip undone 1 centimeter too much, and it flaps open the bottom. Doesn't make sense.
It's purely about nipples here.
It's just about nipples. The nipples must be covered at all times during a triathlon. Done. Move on. Next rule.
Just put bandanas on them, or bandanas.
I mean,
band-aids.
I don't like that rule anyway, Pat. Personally, more nips the better. But if we have to be, draconian, then cover the nip. Done.
Don't look at me, Mark.
Moving on to the next rule. Mark, you haven't gone yet.
I have. That was mine.
No.
All right.
Steph's, 'cause she did all the notes.
Steph's got all the notes. So, Steph, is there a rule about what's the draft meter rule? This one we could spend a lot of time on.
Section 504B. The draft zone is 12 meters. And there's a whole host of other rules that sit around that. Like there's a whole section on drafting, but they've defined the draft zone as 12 meters.
We obviously have been very vocal about it moving to 20 meters. I think before that, we need to talk about age group men and pro men interfering in the women's race and what the draft meter needs to be for that.
So I've said this in the past, and I'm happy with my rule on it. We talked about this today though. So it happened in Boise, particularly. Paula spoke out about it. It's happened in other races. It's happened, Steph. I came up with the idea there should be a pro swim cutoff. If you are 10 minutes down out the water behind the lead male swimmer and you're a male athlete, you are DQ'd from the pro race. And if you are 10 minutes down in the women's race out the water, you are also DQ because they might go in a different order and one's not fair for the other. You can't have one and then not the other. Just stop this.
10 minutes in a 70.3, 20 minutes in a full. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like, but it could even be more in a full. Controversial, I know. But
I
it
mean,
would
but I think 10 minutes is being awfully generous in a 70.3.
Yeah, but it's like some people do come back from bad swims to have good. Look at Danielle Kleiser. We talked about her. Like there are some races where she could actually end up not. She's been close.
It could be on the bubble,
and then she can win the bloody thing. So it has to be fairly generous.
Okay, I don't see a downside to that.
Because if you're saying Ironman, if Ironman sit there and say, no, we cannot make the gap bigger between pro men and pro women because we need to get all the athletes out on the road, the age groups need to get done before road closures, etc. You're not willing to moderate your pros more stringently. The national governing bodies are not helping you with that. We were talking with Ironman in the UK. They're now giving out 18 direct entry pro licenses a year off gateway events. The national governing bodies aren't helping you. So what's your other metric to ensure both races have fair races? Well, this is one option.
Yep. Okay, so then let's go back to where I struggle with the 12-meter piece is that the athletes have very clearly asked for it. And
almost unanimously.
And ask for 12 meters?
For 20.
Okay.
And Ironman will say, well, where'd you get that data from? That data is flawed. Where did you get that information from? But they specifically will not conduct their own survey asking their own athletes about this because they know what the answer will be. And I think what we proposed last year was a very clear, I'll call it baby step of saying, let's go to 20 meters for pro series only and single loop Ironman courses. Now, separate from that, I don't think this is very complicated to say, okay, we're just going to observe for the pros 20 meters, period. And if an age group male comes in to the women's race, we're going to just have to ignore that person for the time being. But because that instance is just, in my opinion, very few and far between on the front end of the race.
Because they can effectively sit 12 meters behind the pro female, but the pro female still would have to sit 20 meters behind any athlete in front of them, including age group men.
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
The age group man receives his brief at the start. You can sit 12 meters behind an athlete. The pros receive their brief. You can sit 20 meters behind an athlete. You both just race like that.
So I wanted to pose this question at the end, but I think this is the proper time to insert it. Why are they so reluctant to change this one?
You know how this rule started, right? So the rule originally started because in Kona, the reflectors are 12 meters apart. So that was an easy way for them to officiate the race back in the day. So that's where the 12 meters originally started. That's where it originally came from. That's they didn't have Race Ranger. Like that was the only way that they could officiate the course and enforce a
quite clever and sensible.
But
time has moved on.
Yep.
And we're not asking for age groupers. I understand, especially now as the quality of the field in Kona will improve with this ruling. It would be a nightmare. You literally can't fit the athletes on the road at the start of the race. I do understand that. But the pros, it's different and it's not difficult.
And we already have different rules for pros and age groupers.
We do indeed.
I would imagine Ironman's concern is they have. Okay, so there's so many layers to this, and the caveat, the comeback will just reduce the size of your pro fields. But if you have 100 male athletes on a start line, and they all need to be 20 meters apart on the road, and they all come out the swim basically together, or at least like 50 of them do, which is possible. How long is that train in time? And therefore,
well, in the distance, so say 50 were in the pack, which is the biggest pack we would ever see. You increase the gap by 8 meters. That makes the entire pack 400 meters longer. But that's 50. We've never seen 50.
We've never seen it. That's what I'm saying. It's because people will always say, imagine there's 50. And again, Mark, you just did it. It's an extra 400 meters. That's nothing for a scenario that we've never seen.
And so let's say it's 25 is the biggest we've ever seen, give or take. So that's 200 meters. How big does that pack become once you massively reduce the draft advantage? the pack gets smaller
It
because the
gets-
pack breaks up.
Exactly. No,
Is it part of it that they worry it makes the sport even more boring? And I love triathlon, but it's
possible.
proper boring sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you've got 20 meters and there's less packs, does it become more boring?
I don't think that is the last thing I fear with that rule. That's the second order effect of that. That's the last thing I fear.
Is it worth considering? Is that
I
valid?
think it would make it more exciting.
Well, yeah, because you swim really well and get off the front and want to ride on your own.
Yeah, exactly. No, but if you look at in Europe how the men are racing, they're all riding
so
largely
boring.
the same speed.
Yeah,
It
true.
is boring to
Yeah, it
watch.
is.
They'll
It's a
do
running race.
90k together, and then it's a running race. Whereas if there is left draft advantage, bike power becomes more important.
At least in America, we got Trevor Foley and Lionel Sanders, make it a little bit more interesting.
I was just going to quote Rico Bogan. Do you remember when he blew his legs off in that race with Venice Jeslo or something?
Yeah.
And he rode 7 minutes into the fastest draft pack you've ever seen and couldn't run. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
I would like to see maybe to add a baby step to the baby step. Draft zones between male and female races. So we've talked a little bit about men interfering with women. Can the men not how to word this? They have to sit 20 meters behind a pro female, and a pro female has to sit 20 meters behind a pro male. They're in different races, and therefore they need to be.
I would go bigger.
I know.
So my take on this would be, I think I've said it before, a pro male gets one chance to overtake a pro female. He may have become stuck for a mechanical, or Lucy Charles may have battered ridiculous amount of time as you in the swim. They get one chance to overtake. Failing that, if they are re-overtaken, they must remain 40 meters behind the pro female athlete for the rest of the race.
I was even going to go harsher, Mark, and just say you get the one overtake option, and if you don't do it, your race is done.
But like, you're riding the same speed. You don't need to say, oh, the ref can't judge if it's 50 or 45. Like, it's enough. Like, it's a long way.
Yep.
Like, and it gets them out of the race. What you can't say is pro females have to sit a bigger distance behind the pro men, I think, because when they want to overtake, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I think this is where so using Indian Wells last year as an example, not pro series race, sorry, therefore no race ranger, also minimal referees out on course. I was in a line of 5 with 2 pro men in the line, which I just think should be an absolute no. But also there were pro women sat potentially less than 12 meters behind pro men, but when you haven't got race ranger, it becomes so difficult for the referees to ref it. So it's almost that like the making of the gap bigger. It doesn't actually matter how big it is, but it just needs to be bigger than 12, which we know is already too close. And especially if you've got like a 5-foot female drafting from a 6-foot male, they're not having to pedal.
Do you know what I would really like to see? Referees empowered just to do something about it with a bit of common sense during the race. Let's, a female athlete is sat behind pro male drafting them.
It's a safety issue.
And it partly is, yeah. And the referee just rides up beside them and go, you haven't made any attempt to make the pass. You're not in the same race. You need to drop back 30 meters. Just like proactive, sensible, logical refereeing.
I actually like that quite a bit. I'm just trying to
Can I piggyback off of Steph's comment about race ranger only being at pro series races and not being at like Indian Wells and all the other races? These are still professional athletes, and there's over 50% of the athletes qualifying for world championship at races without race ranger, which is, in my opinion, it's a serious issue, and there's no reason why they shouldn't have race ranger at every pro race.
Yeah, it's expensive, and it's expensive. They don't make any money at these races. They're struggling to put prize pots up for all of them anyway. And we did this sport for 25 years without race ranger pretty much just fine. If you went to a 20-meter draft zone, you negate the need for it quite so
and
much
the buffer. That's I think a bigger issue here, and something that for me could potentially be the death of race ranger is like, look, if you go to 20 meters, it opens the race up because the buffer zone around whether you're at 18 or 22, it just widens there. So the race is going to change anyway.
Agree. So what we're saying here is we would like to go to 20.
But they use it in T100 races, and it's 20 meters, and it's great.
Yeah, I think he'll still use it, but Pat's right. It's less important.
I think it's no. I'm not saying whether you should or not. I'm just saying if I was again, if I'm at the table with Ironman and I'm trying, and they're working on line item operating expenses, and they're trying to eliminate some stuff, I would say, look, if you went to 20 meters, here's a world where I think you could save the race ranger fee every time.
We like the race ranger guys.
Well, I love it. No, I love it, but I'm just saying.
Let's keep our biases intact, that way. Right. So come on. What we're saying is, draft zones have to go to 20 meters. Pro athletes. We've talked about it forever. Every pro wants it. The racing be better. 20 meters.
But nobody's given me. Okay, but you guys haven't given me a clear.
I got a solution.
Why hasn't it been changed?
Let's try it right here.
Yeah.
Let's try it right here. We could try it at Ironman World Championship in Nice and Kona, separate men and women's races. Say we're going 20 meters for these two races and 20 meters at 70.3 World Championship. Try it at World Championship. It's a single loop course, which is one of the parameters that we were given of why it won't change. These are single loop courses. Men and women are racing on different days, so you won't have interference there. Just try it out. See if it works. It's World Championship. It's an important day for everyone.
Kyle with the dynamite closer.
I mean, it is quite good. It does make a lot of sense. The reason no one's changed it, Pat, and it's really awkward to say, the person and the people that could change it are entrenched in their own mistake and stubbornness. They don't want to admit they're wrong, and they don't want to change. And they don't want to be told what to do by some little athletes or some little podcaster. That's what I think it is. Because there's no other good reason to, because every athlete wants it.
This person's really good friends with Lance. Maybe we just drop a line to Lance whenever they do podcast.
I mean, the thing is that at some point it's got to go beyond that. It's like there's a
never given a good answer, have they?
No, and they've asked athletes for their power files, which at the end of the day it doesn't matter because the athletes are asking for it.
Well, I will give him credit. In Taupo, I chatted to Jimmy Riccatello, amazing, who would talk to me. He's always engages, always will have discussions on stuff. He doesn't mind being challenged in person at all. He said, of course, there's going to be. You don't need to do the study. Of course, there's going to be less draft at 20 meters than 12. Like he acknowledges that.
Yeah,
we've gone past that. We don't need to prove that to them anymore. He does, to be fair to him, fully acknowledge that. Which leads on to, why not change it then?
All right, so I feel like we did we kind of opened the can. We talked about some amazing rules that need to be changed. Our hope is that
I think Steph's still got more. We can.
More. We did 30 minutes on this so far.
Well, come on.
Can I do my?
We got an hour. We could go for an hour and a half today. It's all good. We took a break last week. It's time to get burnt out again. It's like when you come back from vacation and you're like overwork yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, we need to put in a bigger shift. So I had a slightly ridiculous one that section 7.01c, athletes must not interfere with another's equipment in transition. Yeah, totally fair enough. The punishment is only 30 to 60 seconds. Penalty. That is it. So if you change someone else's anything in transition, the maximum penalty you can get is a minute, which is outrageous.
I saw Steph ordering an ice pick on Amazon Prime.
So now Pat's going to deflate everyone's tires, and then he's going to give timing splits to everyone else, and Magnus wins world champs.
So I think that there just needs to be the addition there, doesn't it? But I think there is a rule. There is an overrule about unsportsmanlike conduct will result in disqualification. So if you went and let down people's tires, you can be done for that one. But there should be an intentional or an unintentional, shouldn't it? So intentional interference, disqualification. Unintentional is like when you knock the helmet off or something.
Yeah. But
it's a good point. It's amazing that that's such an oversight. Anything else?
No, I think that was it. We talked a lot.
Okay,
about
sorry. I wanted to do my point is there needs to be a very clear rules committee on this moving forward. And I think that needs to be made a little bit more. I don't know if it's necessarily they owe it for us to be public, but it certainly seems like they're a little shorthanded on this.
I think it.
Are you volunteering us to come and sit in on the committee?
I actually think it stems to more. It's more than just the rules. It's also governance and empowering referees with quality decision making, using the same referees, like maybe even just the same head referee for all Pro Series events, something like that. There needs to just be a revision of rules, regulations, and officiating during Ironman races when you're now offering so much money on the line. Because we time every podcast, there's a ridiculous disqualification, sprint finish where there's no camera. Like it always comes back to our only gripe currently with Ironman is pretty much rules and regs and officiating. So I think it's more than just a rules committee. It's a review of officiating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're
Moving
getting me on 07817, but
That was good, guys. That was really good.
right.
I think that it's time to move on to the race that's happening this weekend, T100 London.
Can I ask you, Carl, first? Why have you been so harsh to T100?
Why every time do we come on? Are you just bashing T100?
Listen,
It's just getting
here's the
tiring
thing.
and it drags us down, Carl.
I've been so harsh on the T100 because me personally, I'm friends with a lot of the pro athletes, and it's rubbed me the wrong way this year specifically that it took 8 months to get an end of series bonus paid out. However, this week they paid everyone, and now I'm back on the T100 hype train.
I have always said they are brilliant for the sport. They are innovative, and they are a much needed competitor to Ironman because we also got paid this week.
So that's been my biggest gripe. I went on. This is one of my guilty pleasures is kind of going on Slow Twitch and getting on the forums, engaging with our fans a little
Can you
bit.
ban him? Because what happens is people go on Slow Twitch and they shit all over me especially and the pod, and they hate us and they rant about it, and it's the same 7 guys talking to each other on there. But then somehow Kyle has got a login and he goes on there and has a meltdown and then starts banging off in our thread about how we're going to get cancelled. So can Slow Twitch ban him, please?
Please.
But I did have some good engagement with some folks. They wanted us to be a little bit more fair on T100, which I feel like we've been pretty fair.
I feel like we've been.
I will say I think that's a fair challenge. We are, but they have to remember where our biases come from. We talked about this. What our biases are, like we're quite honest about it. Like we are negative about T100 in general. We have been, and that is a fair challenge for them. And if they would like to hear more positivity, we can try. But just try to remember why we are negative about them as individuals. That's all I will say.
Mark,
I think
why are you negative about them? Is it they said that Kat can't do the races this year because she turned down the contract?
A little bit of that. I've been negative from the very start when it started out marketed as an athlete union organization for the athletes, and it's very quickly turned into a gathering of hedge fund investments and Saudi money, and it's all just about a business. And I think that was my initial gripe, and then the moving all the venues, and we're not part of it. That's a really obvious bias. Kat's not racing it; she's racing Ironman, so I much prefer Ironman right now. I mean, like I'm not pretending it's anything other than that either. So I think the races are amazing. I think what they've done for the sport is incredible. I just prefer Ironman. I mean, that's all it really comes down to.
I think what's really important for me is that we want somebody to come in and challenge the status quo, and they're trying to do that. Have I agreed with every moment and everything that they've done? No. Again, this was a group that originally started. They said they were going to be pro event only. They were not going to be an age group organization. They were not going to be an event organization. They were only going to be doing, broadcast worthy pro only product. It's very clearly become now an event organization that's servicing an age group population because they realize that the broadcast product isn't as financially viable as they had hoped. Now, here's what I was really happy to see with this Series C investment this week. The original backer of this project, Michael Moritz, was present and visible and front and center with this latest round of funding for the T100. I think that's an amazing signal as far as how bought in he is, for him to take his time and go make this happen. So do I hope that they continue to improve? I'd say a lot of the nuance around their business Absolutely. And have they had to course correct many, many times? Yes. I think for a separate episode, we'll share what we'd love the T100 to do moving forward. I think the 9 races is a mistake. They clearly can't get the athlete buy-in that they want. They've got to sit here and go, okay, do we just talk about going back to 4 races, 4 big opens? I mean, yeah, I don't want to go off on it, but I'm saying like they can't get the contracted athletes they want. There's just a bunch of wrinkles in this process that we're going to save for another podcast, but I'm going to try. I'm thrilled to go to London this weekend. I can't wait to see the event.
About that.
Does Steph has anything to say about the
Yeah,
200?
Steph, do you want to deliver some good news?
What, the water?
Yeah.
So currently, if anyone listening is from London and has tried to do an open water swim in the last week, there is toxic red algae in the Royal Docks. I think the water's being retested tomorrow. I believe T100 haven't released the statement, but currently you cannot swim open water at the race venue because it is toxic. So maybe
fair,
is that why Sam Long's come back on the?
I think it's always been toxic. It's just slightly more toxic than usual. Yeah, it's a bit of a blow. Like let's not go mental on it. They don't have another option. It would be a no swim race. There's no way they've got another swim lined up. But they've got a whole week. I don't know if you can flush through the docks. I don't know what they can do about it, but like we don't know yet. We're a week out, but that could be an absolute disaster.
And I mean, it's not like it's also not just like a London thing. I think Hamburg Ironman's had its swim cancelled in the past for blue-green algae. It's just a different type of algae. There are some things we have no control over.
But it's quite funny.
This one's red,
what's really good to know is that World Triathlon has never fudged a water reading before. So I have all the faith in the world that we are going to get the exact reading of what the toxic red algae is this week.
Should we talk about the race itself?
The CM poo concentration, or there's so many good.
They're gonna,
or it's definitely less than 35 degrees. The water, definitely.
Yeah, like the wet bulb reading. They're like, we did not have that in the freezer beforehand. Nothing.
Right. So the race is happening. I think they'll sort it. I think it'll be sorted. It's got a whole week. I reckon that there'll be something. And we have good fields, and London is a good race. It was a good race last year. It was a really good age group race, really good atmosphere for the age group because their course is actually better. So who wants to hit us off with a bit of the fields? Kyle Glass on the mic.
You have a stacked women's field. That's probably what I'm most excited about is the women's race itself. You have athletes from all walks of earth. Julie Daron, Taylor Knibb, Kate Woff, Jess Learmonth. I mean, you have a massive GB contingent. Plus, you're bringing back some athletes that haven't raced in a while. Hannah Berry, Ellie Salthouse, Els Visser, Caroline Pohl doing her first T100 race of the year. India Lee, who has been gone, is now back. And then the hotshot Laura Madsen, who hasn't done one of the races yet. So you have pretty much the entire T100 series athletes. This is probably the least. I think there's 6 wild cards, which is the least they've had in a women's race. So I think we're on for a great show. It'll be interesting to see how Georgia Taylor Brown turns up after she did a WTCS race and then the Super Tri race in Toronto. So with those athletes, like I can't be more excited. It'll be interesting because you've had some athletes that have gone away and done Ironman races, like Julie Daron, Taylor Knibb. Who else did an Ironman recently? Lucy Charles, Holly Lawrence.
Indy's done one.
Indy, Lisa Perder. So it'll be interesting to see if these athletes, how they turned up after doing a full. So
yeah,
we hit out the women's race, how we think it's going to pan out. Steph, you want to lead us out on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can do. I think it's certainly hard to look past Lucy leading out the swim. She did last year. It's a home race. What we're seeing more and more, however, is the group around her growing. I know, so the Super Tri race, GTB didn't have a particularly great first swim, but seemed to find her groove in like the slightly later rounds. So maybe she'll remember how hard it is to go out at a swim, and then we'll be able to swim with Lucy because I think the short course pedigree pays off. But I'm pretty confident Lucy will be leading it out.
With
was
Jess Learmoth, Georgia Taylor-Brown,
Yeah.
anyone else making that?
Kate wasn't far off it, was she?
She wasn't far off it. No, Kate was hanging on the back of that. And as it gets bigger, then you get more that might be able to hang on. So I could see 4 people coming out the water first. I think Georgia's going to be really good. I'm throwing it out there. I think she's going to be real good on the bike. I think she's going to be dialed an aero. I could see Georgia leading the race with Jess Learmoth until they get caught by Taylor Knibb, who might get out the swim with them as well.
Yeah, because
she'll lose time in transition, so she'll be 20 seconds back, and then she'll catch them. And I could see those 3 riding together.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Taylor on this course because she didn't race last year, did she?
No.
And it's probably not the easiest course to ride. There are, I don't know if they've looked at the road quality, but there are bridges with potholes and some tight corners in various points. We did see some unfortunate punctures last year.
A few punctures, yeah.
But it could be one that if you're able, like the skills from short course with turning tight corners and accelerating out gives you the opportunity to break up a pack that's maybe sat on your wheel, but equally there isn't a technical element that we don't necessarily see that often.
And I think that's why I'm predicting Taylor has company for a long portion of the bike again, like she did in Vancouver with Learmoth. I think Georgia and Taylor are both better technically. Sorry, Georgia Taylor-Brown and Jess Learmoth are technically better than Taylor Knibb, so she'll struggle to drop them easily. But there are a few bridges, a few climbs where she might be able to get some damage done.
And it's 8 laps, 8 10K loops.
Yeah, 8 10K loops with turns at both laps, roundabouts to negotiate in the middle of the laps, 2 roundabouts in the middle of each lap. So
Lucy, is Lucy still a threat on the bike here?
I think Lucy is much fitter than she has been this year already. If her running is anything to go off, she's posting run PBs, 5K run PBs, stuff like that. She's been at altitude training. She's up in Font-Romeu. Like, I think she's putting towards Kona. So, yeah, I could see Lucy riding up there, especially if those 2 hang on, but now you're 4 wheels deep and it's a bit different. I think Taylor's going to have work cut out for her here. And it's the damage they can do. The big one will be what's the damage they can do to Julie Duron? And I think basically Taylor needs to drop Lucy Charles and she needs to drop Georgia Taylor-Brown. She can outrun Learmoth every day of the week. But those 2 can really run. So she needs a gap on those 2, but she needs an even bigger gap to Julie Duron.
Yeah, and I think the issue is we just saw 2 very different Julie Durans from what we saw in San Francisco compared to what we saw 2 weeks later in Vancouver, right? It wasn't just Julie had a much worse swim and a much worse bike, in that gap. So I think it's just a big question mark of like, which Julie are we going to see here? And
Julie is now, of course, on a Kona build. She's stamped her slot at Vittoria. Really good race, good time. Overall, like a really impressive Ironman performance. Definitely puts her as one of the favourites for Kona. Where is she focused? Is she fresh for this? Is she trying to win the T100 series? Or is she now banking huge training blocks and on the way to Kona? We don't know. And you'll never know until the race.
Yep. As far as the contenders, are you guys excited about Georgia Taylor-Brown, Grace Alexander, Lizzie Rayner, Kate Curran, Hannah DeVette, Danielle Kleiser, Lisa Perder, Holly Lawrence?
I will say I'm really surprised Kate Curran's racing. She had a really nasty crash, nasty injury, long road for recovery.
Yeah.
I don't think we can expect her, nor should we expect her to be competitive here. The big one is Georgia Taylor-Brown for me there. She's by far the best of those wildcards. Lizzie Rayner's had some good races this year. She swims well, she rides well, she runs pretty well. Like, she'll be in the mix top 10ing.
Yeah.
But Georgia Taylor-Brown is the one that everyone wants to see. What can she do on the distance? Alistair Brownlee once said he thought Georgia would be the person that could step up to middle distance and just absolutely dominate it. He named her as her engine is there, and I'm intrigued. She's had good races in Bahrain.
Yeah, she has done that. Like she won Bahrain last year.
Yeah.
And so her pedigree is with, she absolutely can manage it and she can suffer for that long and the wheels don't fall off. So I think she's going to be absolutely excellent, if I'm honest.
And it's been interesting because she's been, as Pat would say, on an LSD experience, look, search, discover, right, Pat? With her trying to do cycling races, her dabbling a little bit into almost getting onto the EF cycling team.
And they picked Mike Kayner instead.
Yeah.
And then did you see what happened? Was it the Giro? The first stage of the Giro?
Oh, did she crash?
Yeah, my King crashed in the first stage, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Of one of the races. I think she crashed out.
Yeah. So she's been following Vince around. She's been doing some training. Did the WTCS race, did the Super Tri race, and so it'll be. I mean, I'm intrigued to see how she goes now with the middle distance, with kind of the Olympics in the rearview mirror of what's.
I
coming
think
forward.
when you're going from being a part of a governing body, that freedom is really important, and
Yeah.
she needs to go through that process of actually doing what you want to do and what excites you.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, that's a happy athlete is a fast athlete, and I really, really believe that. So I think this could be the leaving behind of kind of fatigue that you get when you can't do what you want, and then really embracing, actually, you know what, I can ride my bike for 10 hours today, and that's great, and then I'm going to go and race a T100 race, and that's also great too. And I can,
I guess I also miss Kate Woff potentially from that front group.
Yeah.
Too. But that was Singapore.
Yeah, I don't know if she's got the bike power.
She did in Singapore, but was everyone else just terrible? I think I said at the time, I think she got not lucky. You make your own luck. She was fit at the start. Everyone else rode pretty badly there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
One last question before we do picks. What do you guys think Ash Gentle needs to do to repeat in this race?
She's got to ride better. She's her riding has died off, and she's capable of it. She's been a brilliant cyclist in the past. She needs to be with Julie Duron out the swim, and she needs to ride with her. And to win, she probably needs to gap her, which is very hard to do. And then she needs to be in the hunt. You know, she needs to be a couple of minutes back on these girls. She can't spot them 5 minutes.
Steph, agree?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say she needs to be ahead of Julie.
Definitely.
I think the running we've seen from Julie has been
lights out,
exceptional, and there's no reason that maybe Ash from last year couldn't run like that. But I don't know how much you can turn around in. I mean, maybe you can turn around a lot in a month. I don't know, but yeah, I'd say ahead of Julie, maybe only by a minute, but even just having that gap will feel good. And then hopefully she can run the Ash running as relaxed as we have seen her when she wins. Because as soon as she starts tensing up, I think that's when.
Agree. Yeah, it's visible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we've seen this bike course plays differently than other races, right? And I think we're going to see that in both the men and the women's race this weekend. I don't know how we're going to see that yet, but it certainly this is a different vibe here.
Yeah, it's just harder. Like, it's just more technical. I like it. It's more interesting. The road surface, I don't like bad road surface. I don't like potholes and speed bumps, but I like technical courses because I think it's part of a skill that the athletes should have. And if you don't have them, that's a weakness. It's not an unfair course. So I actually much prefer them. Picks. I'm taking Georgia Taylor Brown for the win. I'm just going first. Georgia Taylor Brown wins.
Anyone else?
Lucy Charles in second. Julie Duron third. I think she's going to get gapped in the swim, and then they're going to push a gap into her. I think she's focusing on Kona.
I am going Taylor, Julie, GTB.
Oh, fuck, I completely forgot about Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, Taylor hasn't finished outside of the top 3 of a 100K race.
Well, I've said it now. I'll stick with it. It's obviously an oversight from me, that, because Taylor, you should never count Taylor out. That's not a snub on Taylor. I did actually literally just forget her name. The only way that works is if all those girls hang on with Taylor, Lucy and Georgia outride her, and then she gets caught by Julie Duron, and she's just the third fastest runner from that group, and she doesn't manage to shake them. That's the only way that plays out. Otherwise, Taylor will obviously be in the podium.
Yeah. Pat, you want to do your picks next?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to go Taylor, Lucy, Julie.
Cool.
Nice.
What's your doubts on Georgia? Just not good enough right now.
We just haven't seen. I just haven't seen she's just too new to the distance yet, so I haven't seen anything that would indicate that she can do it yet.
Fair, totally fair.
I'm gonna go T-Nib. Second place. I think that we've been sleeping a little bit on Jess Learmonth. She raced really, really well at Vancouver, so I'm gonna go her for second. And third, I'm gonna go Kate Woff. I don't know how if Julie's able to bounce back. I mean, look at her year trajectory. It's very similar to how Christian Blumenfeld did it after Tokyo. Like, for her to do really, really well at the Olympics and then do a full Ironman, and then now being pretty dominant at the middle distance, like there's got to be a weakness somewhere. So I'm banking on that she's not bouncing back as well from her Ironman going into this T100 race.
I think that's fair. It's a fair guess. Steph, tell us what's going to actually happen.
I've already done it.
Oh,
She already did her picks.
What did you
But
have?
if you also want to do your picks, if you visit endurancepicks.com, Christoph has created a new fantasy triathlon app via the website. Just put in your details and you could join the ProTri News.
Say it again.
It's endurancepicks.com. We'll link it in the description. So
Cool. Good work, dude. I like that.
Christoph, he's a man.
And we have one other race no one really cares about, but it's the men's race. The men. There's some interesting stuff going on here, right? There's obviously a really great field. There's some wild cards coming in, and there's some returning athletes. The big names that are on form that haven't had problems. Leo Berger's here. Antonio Benito Lopez is here after his great result in San Francisco. Carl Smith is here, absolute weapon. Rico Bogan, weapon. Yellow-Geens, weapon. And then you also have a returning Hayden Wild. Is it too soon? Now, he doesn't want the pressure, I'm hearing. He doesn't think people should be expecting him to win, which is why I'm picking him for first. And if he doesn't win, it's a failure, Hayden. No, he's obviously completely banged up. I thought he'd be out for the whole year.
I did too.
So, yeah, like amazing that he's back already.
Yeah, I think the celebration here is that he's back on the start line. Like that is the biggest win
For the sport, because he's really great. He's entertaining. He's an amazing athlete. What to expect of him, I have absolutely no idea. But what we will expect Carl Smith to ride super hard. We expect Rico Bogan to ride super hard. We expect Mika Newt to ride really hard. Yellow-Geens to try and hang on for dear life, and then unleash the run.
Mazurier?
Yeah, Matisse Magirier. He's an amazing rider. That's how you say his name as well. And then we have some wild cards. We have Harry Palmer, Jack Hutchins out of the UK. That's an interest. He's been guiding, has he? Is that Jack that guides?
No, Will Draper.
No, Jack's done some guiding, I think.
Jackson is
Jack Hutchins.
I don't see him. I think that you're looking at a different list.
Oh, he's on the World Triathlon start list.
Oh, is he really?
On the website.
Oh, wow. Maybe they haven't updated on the T100 website then. That's fair.
Possibly.
Yeah. Then Jack Hutchins got added. That's good.
Yeah, he did do some guiding. Right, I'm having it, taking it. Jamie Riddle, another brilliant athlete. Anyone else want to take this off me? Because I'm losing the plot here.
Willie Hirsch, Will Draper, those are the other two. And Jonas Hoffman, who raced really, really well at Ironman Frankfurt.
And we haven't mentioned Sam Long's racing as well.
Yeah, he added himself back onto the start list. He wasn't on it, and then now he's back on it.
He planted the red algae.
Yeah.
I think so.
He had it when he heard about the red algae. Yeah. No one would like a duathlon as much as Sam Long.
Oh my God.
Except when he basically got one in San Francisco last year and somehow fucked it. You know, he's only a minute down.
Just absolutely bottled it.
But yeah,
I think that this is a smart choice by Sam because he's already in Europe anyway. He put out a YouTube video about how he was trying to decide between Valencia and all these other races and stuff, and then they moved Vegas. And so I think this is a smart choice for Sam. He makes some good decisions whenever he wants to. And I think this is a smart decision.
I think the UK fans love a bit of Sam as well. Everyone loves a bit of Sam. He'll get loads of support on the course, and he seems to find a way to enjoy almost every race.
Yeah.
So go on.
I'm just thinking about how we frame this race and how it's going to pan out.
Massive group, smash fest on the bike, splits in two, run race.
Yeah, that's fair. Who's leading out the swim? Jamie Riddle?
Probably.
Or Menno Koolhaas?
Depends if Menno Koolhaas
or Rico.
wants
Sorry, or Rico Bogan.
Well, Koolhaas, if he wants it like he did in Kona, he'll lead it out.
Yeah.
But it depends who wants it the most. I reckon Jamie Riddle will lead it out.
I think so too. I think Jamie leads out the swim easily. And then run race. We watched a really good battle last year. I totally forgot until T100 posted it, but Sam Laidlow going no wetsuit, just like everyone else was doing wetsuit, and then goes and wins the race, hangs on from Kyle Smith.
Right.
Like, that was an exciting race.
It was still a stupid decision. He got very bloody lucky that he won the race. And
You create your own luck, Mark.
Mate, even he admits that it wasn't the brightest decision because he was hanging out his ass on the swim. But it was amazing. And it does show you can break away on this bike course because he did drop that whole group. And can we see Rico Bogan, someone like that, drop the group and make this race interesting? Because the reality is they need to gap Yellow-Geens. And I don't care what he says. They need to gap Hayden Wild as well. I don't care how injured he's been. If he can hold tough on that bike, he's running well.
Hayden ain't starting a race he doesn't think he can win.
Agree.
So let's do some picks.
Hayden Wild wins. Yeah, Yellow-Geens in second. And
no, I'm going. Yeah, go ahead.
Who's third, Mark? Who's third, Mark?
I haven't got one. Who's the next best runner that's going to do that?
Sorry, but he's coming off of an injury.
Kyle Smith.
Kyle Smith. All right.
I got Yellow-Geens. I want to put Hayden Wild in third because I think he's just going to come up late, and then I don't have a great option for second, so I don't know. Rico Bogan.
There you go.
I think Yellow's going to win. I think Antonio Benito Lopez is going to come second, and then Rico's going to come third.
Nice, that's good. I'm going to go for the win. See, I wanted to take Hayden, but I'm not gonna do that. I think he's gonna win the race, but for the picks itself, I'm gonna go Kyle Smith first place.
I would love to see it.
There's no one I want to see win a T100 race more than Kyle Smith. I'm gonna go Kyle Smith for the win. Second place, Yellow-Geens, and third place, Jamie Riddle. I think. He's proven that he can do well at these middle distance.
He's brilliant. Yeah. He's really brilliant. I'm just not sure he's there with the running for the podium just yet, but he's getting there, isn't he? It's a valid pick.
He's going to give it full beans on the bike, similar to what Laidlaw did last year, and then maybe hold on for a podium.
I like it. Yeah, sure. Not one of your most stupid picks.
I'm trying to be a little bit better. Everyone's getting a little bored of my crazy picks.
Yeah, but then you get them right every now and again.
Yeah, exactly. So this race is going to be amazing. You'll be able to watch it live on Saturday. Obviously, it's in the UK, so check your local listings for timings. Men and women are racing on the same day, just a couple hours apart, so we'll have a little bit of overlap. Hopeful that the broadcast will give us what we want to see.
Broadcast has been great. I talked about not liking the 200 as much as Ironman. Their commentary team has been brilliant at the moment. Coverage has been super good. The broadcast I properly look forward to.
Yeah. So really good. We've taken up a lot of time. Do you guys want to hit hot take? Do you guys like the race ranger data that was released from Challenge Roth?
I think we can be quite quick because we're old on this because we took a break. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think they should always release it in that format. The way they broke the data down was absolutely wonderful. I liked the way they cancelled out everything that wasn't illegal drafting, so it wasn't just passing time and stuff like that. So you're getting a clear picture. I really enjoyed the male pro who had his favourite wheel to follow was the female pro. Really enjoyed that. In fairness to him, he had 25 seconds drafting in total, but it's still funny. I think that Henry Schumann and Vincent Louis looked like dirty little cheaters in this particular instance.
Or they have a beautiful bromance.
They have a beautiful bromance, but I mean, it's both their first stabs at a long distance race. It's Roth when you're kind of used to get away with a bit of drafting. Doesn't make me like Vincent Louis any less. I think they're brilliant athletes. I think it's a really good tool to make people want to draft less, knowing it's going to be public.
Agree. Do you think that anyone that doesn't put out this data, like the T100 race this weekend or the Ironman races coming up, do you think that it's ridiculous and they need to post it?
Kyle, I couldn't have worded it better myself. It's cowardly and ridiculous. Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't. There's no reason not to. I think what was eye-opening to me was the number of yo-yos.
Oh, some of them are mad.
So it was like someone had over 100? Yeah. So that's where you go into the draft zone and then you come back out the reverse of it and you don't make the pass.
And that's a penalty.
That is a penalty.
So that's 100 penalties they should have had.
I've been done for when I cheated. No, I didn't. It was
you are a dirty cheater, Steph.
Oh, it was like at the bottom of a hill. I just carried a bit more momentum, and I should have made the pass, but the pass was on Emma Pallant-Brown and Laura Philipp, and I was like, "What am
They're
I doing?
quite
This is my
strong.
first pro race. Like, who are you? Don't be like, this is ridiculous." So then I just dipped out the back, and the ref was like, "I'm sorry, that's a penalty." I was like, "You are absolutely right. That is exactly a penalty."
Off to the box I go.
Yeah, I'll take a 5-minute rest at the top of this hill. But that is so they should have had 100 times 2-minute penalties.
I think it taught us a lot about it. And the nice thing is they knew it was going to be public before they went into the race.
Yeah.
I think that's I
Yes.
wouldn't have approved of it so much if not, because yeah, all right, you shouldn't cheat any times, etc., etc. But you've got to give people transparency. You've got to lay out the rules. This will be public, so get a grip of yourselves.
Yeah.
And those that didn't got shown up for it. I think it would be amazing to see it in Kona and in Nice, but especially Kona.
I just
really
don't understand why we can't see it every race. I
I
want to
agree.
see it.
I want
now.
to see it
Like,
every
I want
race.
to see it
Like this
every
is a
race.
good thing to talk about and see and like post about, and it gets good and like the engagement, the comments from the post itself. Like
Mhm.
it gets great engagement. It's good for the sport.
And it helps pro athletes just be better.
Yeah, and be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Like public
Yeah.
shaming.
And it
Bring
also
back.
can make some athletes look like absolute ballers, like Sam Long, 0 seconds.
Yes.
And he came out 7th out of transition or something, just blasted past everyone, rode solo. Same for what's his name off the front, Schomburg.
Yeah.
You know, like it can be a negative for those messing around, and it can also be a real show of strength for good athletes. So I really like it. And yes, it should just be public.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Steph, again for joining the show. Obviously, she's going to be a regular guest with us as we move into championship season. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.